What was life inside Michael Jackson's Neverland really like? For years, people imagined that growing up at Neverland meant having a giant amusement park, a zoo, and a movie theater, and being able to enjoy all of it whenever you wanted. But Paris Jackson just gave a very different picture of what her childhood there was actually like. In a recent episode of Call Her Daddy, Paris opened up about the rules Michael had for her and her brothers. And the first thing she clarified was something a lot of people get wrong. She said she spent her first 7 years at Neverland, but she doesn't consider herself to have actually grown up there. And while she was there, her life was surprisingly structured. Paris and her brothers were homeschooled with their own classroom on the property. They had schoolwork, they had chores, and they couldn't simply finish those things whenever they felt like and spend the rest of the day riding attractions. Because Michael had made something very clear to them. The rides at the Neverland weren't for them. Paris explained that the amusement attractions and the zoo over there was for the underprivileged and terminally ill children who visited Neverland. So even though she was literally living inside the enormous fantasy-like property, she couldn't just walk outside and ride the attractions wherever she wanted. Instead, they had to earn it. She explained that after they finished their schoolwork and chores, activities like seeing the animals, going on the rides, or going to the movies could become their weekend reward. And it wasn't just the amusement park, even television and movies were restricted. Paris said they weren't simply allowed to sit around watching television whatever they wanted. Television could be educational or it could be something they earned. But there was another unusual part of her childhood. Because Michael Jackson was one of the most recognizable people on the planet, he wanted his children to experience some sense of normal life. So when Paris and her brothers went out in public, they would often wear masks to hide their identities. That meant they could go out without immediately being surrounded by people who knew they were Michael Jackson's children. And perhaps the most interesting part of Paris' story is that she doesn't describe her father simply as some extremely strict parent. She remembers Michael as a funny and caring father, even calling her best friend. So when you look at Neverland from outside, it looks like the ultimate childhood fantasy. But according to Paris Jackson, living there was actually much more structured than people might have imagined. She lived next to an amusement park she couldn't freely use. She was homeschooled, she had chores and homework, she had to earn her entertainment. And her father was trying to give his children something that his own fame made incredibly difficult to have, a normal childhood.